is my pleasure on behalf of the university, the center, and my colleague and co-sponsor of this evening's event, Dr. Rebecca Davis-Mathias, who is the director of the Brennan School of Business's Center for Global Peace Through Commerce, to welcome you to tonight's program, Is Dreaming Illegal? Seeking Sustainable Solutions. The pressing issue of immigration, which is so prevalent in the headlines today, in the heated political rhetoric of our time, and which is such a complex factor in the machinations of the global economy, is a deeply personal issue for all of us at Dominican University. Here, we pride ourselves on being a relationship-centered place, where the participation in the creation of a more just and humane world is a driving priority. And in this community, fully 25% of our freshman class, for example, tell us that their native language is not English. Of the 17 sophomores that I have in class this semester, only 2 are not either themselves immigrants or the children of immigrants. Last fall, many of you from among the community will remember that many of our students were actively and courageously involved in the movement to pass the DREAM Act. Some of our undocumented students even testifying publicly about their experience as college students and their hopes for the future. And so it is important that we continually keep the complexities and the simplicities, the legalities and the ethics, the statistics and the stories before us, examining them with intellectual rigor and in the light of the demands of our mission and of our religious heritage. So I'm delighted to introduce you to the distinguished panel who will lead us through such a reflection tonight. Each panelist is invited to give about 20 minutes of remarks in turn, and I will introduce all of them now so that when they begin to speak, they will just follow after one another without interruption. And after they've completed their remarks, then we'll have some time for comment from the floor. And we hope that we're able to engage not only in a question and answer session, but in really a rich conversation, which will involve all of us. So to begin, Dr. Mark Hugo Lopez is the Associate Director of the Pew Hispanic Research Center, a nonpartisan research organization founded in 2001 by the Pew Research Center that seeks to improve understanding of the U.S. Hispanic population and to chronicle Latinos' growing impact on the nation. The center does not take on policy issues, but engages in foundational research. An economist by training, Dr. Lopez's area of expertise include labor economics, civic engagement, voting behavior, and the economics of education. To give you a flavor of the depth and breadth of his research, the reports he has authored or co-authored recently include Hispanics and the Economic Downturn, Housing Woes and Remittance Cuts, published in January 2009, Latinos and Education, Explaining the Attainment Gap, published in October 2009, Latinos and the 2010 Elections, Strong Support for Democrats, Weak Voter Motivation, in October 2010, and the 2010 Congressional Reapportionment and Latinos report, published just a few weeks ago in January of this year. In addition to his work at Pew, Dr. Lopez currently serves as a visiting professor at the University of Maryland School of Public Policy, where in 2007 he was recognized with the Excellence in Teaching Award. It's an honor to have you with us, Dr. Lopez, and we appreciate the distance you've traveled to be with us. Following Dr. Lopez will be the Reverend Craig Mousin. Reverend Mousin serves as the university ombudsperson at DePaul University and concurrently teaches in the College of Law, the College of Arts and Sciences, and the School of New Learning. Admitted to the bar in 1984, Reverend Mousin has a long history of legal practice, legal education, and advocacy in the area of immigration. He co-founded DePaul College of Law's Asylum and Immigration Legal Clinic. He founded and directed the Midwest Immigration Rights Center, which is now called the National Immigrant Justice Center. and he directed legal services for Travelers and Immigrants Aid. Highly regarded by colleagues, students, and clients, Reverend Mousin is the recipient of the Chicago Bar Association's Maurice Weigel Award for Outstanding Service to the Legal Profession, DePaul University's Barbara A. Sizemore Diversity Award and its Spirit of DePaul Award, and the Community Service Award from the Greater Chicago chapter of the American Immigration Lawyers Association. Following Reverend Mousin will be Dr. Elizabeth Collier, our own Assistant Professor of Business Ethics at Dominican University. Let's hear it for the hometown girl. With a PhD in theological ethics from Loyola University, Chicago, Dr. Collier's areas of specialization are ethical methodology and business, ethics as it relates to U.S. immigration and policy, and virtue ethics. Currently, she is working on a book with a colleague at DePaul University on the application of Catholic social theory to business and the economy. She is also the associate editor of the Journal of Religion and Business Ethics. In her teaching, writing, and public speaking on the topic we address tonight, Dr. Collier brings her academic training together with her practical paralegal experience on immigration cases. One last thing, of Liz's work as an educator, one of her students remarked, "After you've taken her class, you will have learned a lot, and you will start thinking in a different way about the world." I'm sure that will be true of all of us this evening as well. And finally, Elena Segura, the founding director of the Office of Immigrant Affairs and Immigration Education at the Archdiocese of Chicago. Ms. Segura has been with the Archdiocese since 1999, when she began as the diocesan director of the Catholic Campaign for Human Development. In the past 10 years, she has built the largest diocesan ministry dedicated to the service of immigrants in the entire country, including the creation of Immigrant to Immigrant Ministry, which is the office's newest program, empowering immigrants through a foundation of biblical reflection from the immigrant experience to engage in actions of service and justice as they are formed as leaders in their parish communities. To date, this ministry has trained 350 pastoral ministers who are working through 55 Hispanic and 5 Polish parishes in the Archdiocese. She has worked on the formation of a network entitled Priests for Justice for Immigrants, which now has a membership of over 200 priests, and the formation of Sisters and Brothers for Immigrants, represented by 57 religious orders. Recently, Ms. Segura's work was recognized by Arise Chicago, the Chicago chapter of Interfaith Worker Justice, with their 2010 Prophetic Leader Award. So you can see we have a very distinguished, learned, and practiced panel. So without further ado, Dr. Lopez.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here today. My name is Mark Lopez, and that introduction was the best introduction I've heard of myself. I'm like, wow, I gotta take some of those notes from you. But I'm at the Pew Hispanic Center in Washington, D.C., and I want to first tell you a little bit about the center. Might help if I turn it on, huh? There we go. The center has been around for about 10 years, but there's an important fact about the center that I want to point to. We call ourselves a fact tank and not a think tank. What I mean by that is that we take no positions on policy. And so every time I give a talk, I mention that because I want you to see that I'm just going to show you some facts and just show you some numbers, but I'm not going to talk about policy except maybe in the form of public opinion. And that's because at the center, we don't take any positions at all. We're a nonpartisan organization. So that distinguishes us from something called a think tank, where if you look at the reports from